I'm sorry, it was a little tardy today. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I was Jenna Stridonk was on the show a few weeks ago talking about her book, The Quarantined Widow, and she also sent me this book, Here to Heal by Jenna Stridonk. So I was just kind of taking a few minutes before we had to start here, reading through, and then I went, oh, it's 3:32. I better put the book away and get started. So here we are. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the show. As always, I'm your host, David Burrows. And how's your weekend going? I'm guessing it was probably a little better than it has in the past, right? Of course, the lockdown, I don't even know what state we're in, what it's called, but we're sort of a little, the handcuffs are off a little bit, I guess, right? And not gonna lie, Jennifer and I went out on Friday and did a nice walk downtown. We went down to the Bad Dog restaurant in Sarnia, which is always fantastic. Jason and his staff down there are just always very accommodating. We were there for quite some time and enjoyed ourselves. And then went for a walk downtown. We were by Nightlife. They had some stuff going on in the patio, and then down to Lola's, and we just had a nice walkabout. So, and then yesterday out on the motorcycles for a nice ride, and it's been a good weekend. So I hope you're enjoying and appreciating the time out as well. And it's just nice to see things starting to come back to, dare I say, normal, whatever that is. Is that even a word now? Look that up in the dictionary. What does normal mean now? Right, we'll have to get through it. Let's go over to the comments and say hello. There's Danny Cachamilio. Happy Monday, Mr. David Burrows. Happy Monday, Mr. Danny Cachamilio. Are you excited about getting back to hockey, like OHL hockey, Danny? Right? Because of course the OHL finally just said we're not going to get to it this year, but they have slated plans, I should say, for October. And I can tell you that there's big plans in the works. Jake Bury and the team down there have been working very hard at getting ready for an exciting OHL year. And the Sarnia Sting have the first OHL female draft, right? Hello, right? Taya Curry is a goalie for the Sarnia Sting. Lots of conversation about that out there, so congratulations to her. I did reach out and try to get an interview with Taya, but she's just been so overwhelmed with interviews, as you can imagine, and the family just kind of requested can just kind of take a break from all of that because she was super overwhelmed. So absolutely respecting that, but I think we'll probably be able to talk to her down the road. Maybe we'll save that for when we get back to the Sarnia Sting and the OHL days. They're coming soon, right? Hello, Dawn. Thanks for being here as well, Dawn. And yeah, Danny, definitely, right? Most definitely. Yeah, just looking forward to listening to the crowd cheer on the home team, right? Even though I know your heart lies in the Sioux, right, Danny? Because I know that's where you're from. But and then we do have some plans to do some of the live stream broadcasting again as well. I ran into Jay Peckham the other day, and he was actually I was riding with Jay Peckham, and he was asking about it. So he's excited as well too. So we'll probably find a spot for you again, Danny. And our friend and photographer Barry Loxton is here. Good afternoon to you, Barry. And looks like maybe now we can get out and go do some photography together, Barry. And you can teach me some photography maybe, and then I'll bring my drone. We'll have some fun with that. I've been out flying the drone, having lots of fun with that. I haven't put it online just yet. I'm working on a project that's probably going to take almost a year to complete. But when it's done, and then some other stuff too that I've been I try to, I said to Jennifer the other day, I said, I can't keep going down by the Blue Water Bridge and the river and all that and showing the same footage, but it's just so beautiful, right? You can get different shots every time. So, but I've got some other spots out there that I've been having fun with. So hopefully we'll get to that soon. All right, let's talk about some of the sponsors that support us here, and always grateful to them. Philly Cheese Jake's. Jake Chersky at 988 Confederation Street. If you haven't been there, go there. He's got ice cream there too. Jake, if you're listening, maybe I'll be down there, I think tomorrow. Tomorrow's probably good. I get out about 2 o'clock tomorrow, so I'm going to go see Jake for some ice cream. Of course, he's got delicious food down there as well. Active Ears Hearing Centers here in Sarnia. Christine Fiji, been a great supporter almost from the beginning, so thank you to Active Ears and Christine Fiji, where better hearing begins with you. Hughes Intelligence, they are security specialists. Thanks to Barry Bentley and his team for support. And from day one, Huron Signs is a part of the AG Event Graphics group of companies, or AskGuy.ca. Guy and Kevin and everybody down there have gone over the top of support for me here, so very grateful to them. Joe's Discount Tire, you got to have the good tires. Joe's is the place to be for that. And our dear friends at Oswald's Diner, also motorcycle enthusiasts, so we got a good connection there, but they got delicious food, and they're really family-oriented down there, and I know they're excited to have the patio open again as well. You can find out more about them and their multiple menus that they have throughout the day at oswalds.com. So grateful to them. And that's actually, I'll be doing the Ride of Respect again this Saturday, which I'll talk about a little bit later on after, I guess. But I always do like to put out there, as I'm a rider, my wife's a rider, my son's a rider, friends are riders. Watch out for motorcycles, folks. I know we all get in a hurry, and maybe we don't always check the lane before we move or whatever. So please keep an eye out for motorcycles. And we, as motorcycle riders, we have to behave too. It's not just a one-way street, pun intended. It's a two-way street. We've got to look out for each other. So let's all ride safe. And we get in a hurry, right? We get in such a hurry. And I remember when I was younger, my buddy and I, we'd go drive our cars, and we always had to get there fast and squeal the tires or whatnot, right? Now and my dad would be, now I'm the dad, right? And I'm going like, why is that person in a hurry? And what do you got to be there so fast? If you're already late for work, you're going to be late for work. You can't turn back time, right? There you go. Speak of the guy right there. Jay Peckham is here. Riders rock. Well, you rock too, Jay. It was good to see you over on the weekend there, or last week, I guess it was. So hopefully, I think Jay's going to make it out for the Ride of Respect. Hope he can make it there, Jay, for sure. Right? And just keep an eye out for those riders out there. A couple things going on. Was last week, I think we had United Way was here. Dave Brown was talking to us about what's going on with them. We want to give a shout out once again to Top Shelf Canada, who is supporting the United Way by donating money. I mean, what's wrong with who doesn't like money, right? Especially the United Way and nonprofit organizations, as we're going to get to in a little bit here. But Top Shelf, you can go to their website and order some paraphernalia and some hot sauce, and $5 from every one of those orders is going to be donated to the United Way all across Canada. Now, if it's bought here in Sarnia, then it stays here in Sarnia, which is fantastic, right? So you want to find out more about their hot sauce, etc., you can just go to topshelfcanada.ca and find out more. I'm not a super hot guy, but I've had some of their stuff that was mild, and I really enjoyed it. I got to tell you, I had a bottle here. I got to get some more from them. And now when you're supporting Top Shelf Canada, you're also supporting the United Way Canada, which is fantastic as well, right? So thank you, Top Shelf, for that. And I saw a couple things on the weekend that I was like, wow, are you like, again, talking about being in a hurry, and then people, I guess we're tired of standing in line, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, come on, we got to keep being nice to each other out there, right? I mean, we still, regardless of what we've been through, we've really got it pretty good. I mean, I don't know about you, but I have running water, both hot and cold, right? I have electricity, there's food, and there's, so let's just, I think the pandemic was, I didn't call it pandemic. I called it someday. Someday I'm going to do this and someday I'm going to do that. Well, someday showed up, and we had to get creative and do a lot of things. But one of the things we got to continue to do, folks, is just be nice to each other. It's so easy to be nice to somebody. Smile, I always got a kick out, when you drive the car and you're sitting at the corner and a car drives by you as they're turning. And if you look at them, sometimes we look at like, what are you looking at, right? Just smile. I'm looking at you. What do you mean? So let's just continue to be nice out there. Appreciate the things that we have going for us. And I know this is an old speech of be grateful, be grateful. Sometimes even those of us that preach being grateful, we subconsciously sometimes don't really know what we got. Sometimes we don't mean to take advantage. So just be nice to each other out there, right? Lots of people going through different things. But my grandma always used to say, I said this to Jay Peckham the other day, didn't I, Jay, if you're still listening? It could always be worse. Right? It could always be worse. So the alternative to not being kind, let's avoid that one. All right. Comments one more time. Done my little rant there. You're going to be there. Okay, Jay Peckham, that's good. I'm glad you're going to be there to join us. And we'll be talking more about the Ride of Respect coming up. And just at the end of the show, we'll be talking about that. But right now, talking about local organizations that need your support. We've got one of them here today, and we're going to bring on Heidi Vallinga from the Huron House Boys Home. Thanks so much for being here, Heidi.
Thanks for having me, David.
You're welcome. The last time I spoke and dealt with you was for the Men Who Cook event that had to be done virtually.
Yeah, that went really fantastically, actually. It was the first event that we really had to pivot and figure out something different, because luckily we were able to get it in last year before everything shut down. And to the fantastic sponsorship and ticket sales that we had, we were able to raise just about the same as we did last year at the event. So it was fantastic.
Well, and right, super fantastic. And do you see maybe doing more virtual stuff even coming out of pandemic, or are you looking to get back and get the bodies in action?
I think there's some value in maybe a bit of the hybrid options in some cases, but I think we're really looking forward to seeing people in person again.
Yeah, I agree. Well, this event, the Huron House Boys Home Run, Walk, Skate, Bike, this is one I always enjoyed too, because I got to be the MC for it, and I got to announce things and have a lot of fun. And I always enjoyed the seeing the people out supporting. So this is actually last year. Everybody's like, okay, we got to do our thing virtually. But did you think you'd have to be doing it virtually twice?
We really didn't. Last year, we did end up canceling in the midst of everything, just not really being sure what we could do, and having to sort of pivot partway through. We just thought the best option would be to cancel it. Luckily, we had a number of our sponsors still give the funds that they usually give to support. And we also had a lot of those who had already registered, turned their registration fees into donations to us, which is fantastic. But we really didn't think we'd be going virtual this year, but here we are. And we're just happy to be able to do something. It's been going really well so far. And we're really loving the response that we've had.
And so this has been going on since Mother's Day, right? So this is kind of the home stretch for the Run, Walk, Skate, Bike. Tell everybody like how it works and how they can still get involved here.
Yeah, we mixed it up a little bit this year just to keep things a little more spread out, offer a little bit more flexibility, because we didn't all happen the same day. So everyone's been able to sign up since February and complete it by Father's Day. So you can still get out, stick to tradition, and on Father's Day, get out maybe with your family and participate that way. You can absolutely do it. We're still taking registrations up until Thursday night, and donations can come in until Sunday night, so the end of Father's Day.
Right. So you've had a pretty good response. Sorry.
Registration numbers has been down a fair bit. We have about 125 people signed up, and usually we get about 450 plus. But the fantastic thing is that those 125 people have raised nearly as much as we usually do with the 450 plus participants. So we're doing a final push now to hopefully get the last about $2,000 we need to reach our $10,000 fundraising goal. But the response as far as fundraising has been over the top this year.
That's great that, I think every person who's been on the show from an organization, we could say that this is a great community for coming together and giving support when it's really desperately needed, right? And it kind of shows in the numbers that you just talked about. You were a little choppy there at the end, but I got the impression that it was the numbers of participants are down, but the numbers they're keeping up with the dollar numbers. Is that right?
Exactly. So with about a quarter of the participants, we're going to raise about the same amount of money as usual.
Well, that's fantastic, but it's not done yet. There's still time this week. I know the information there. What's that? So we're really delayed there.
Oh, I would just say we're not done yet.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Sorry. I thought you meant, okay. We got to fix the delay. Let's just keep going. So there's still time to get involved. Like I said, up till Father's Day. I know there's a direct link, but they can also go to Huron House Boys Home to get the information, right?
Will be on our website, and you can sign up until Thursday. And you can also, as part of your registration, if you want to get breakfast vouchers, and a portion of those will come back as a donation to Huron House. They've always been a great supporter of the event.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Let's talk a little bit more about Huron House Boys Home and the services they provide to many of the youth in our community and surrounding communities as well too, right? But for those who maybe don't exactly know about the Boys Home, give them the kind of the Reader's Digest version.
Sure. We're an accredited residential children's mental health center, and we provide therapeutic programming and counseling for boys living with us. We have a little bit, but it's about where it stays. And this is one of our largest fundraising events for the Boys Home. We do have funding that comes from various sources, including the government events every year, to try and fill those gaps and make sure we can keep the lights on, basically.
Yeah, and I know Don Adam, who's executive director there. I ask him the numbers, but what are the numbers that you need monthly to keep the Boys Home afloat? I know it's large.
It is large. I mean, our weekly grocery bill, for one thing, is just about $1,000 a week. But it's in the area, I believe, about $60,000 a month that we need. So
yeah,
it costs a lot to keep things running.
Yeah, for sure. And the boys that are there now, I mean, any time in life, if they're there, they're needing support. But this unique time of history that we're in with the pandemic, has it been tougher on the boys, or are they come through it, or how are they dealing with the current situation that we've been through in the last year, right?
They've dealt with it really well. I think they've had the same frustrations as any of us. They were being stuck in online school and all of that, but they've been incredibly resilient through all of this, and really stuck together, been a really cohesive group, and been a family throughout it.
Right. Very good. Well, I'm going to cut this a little short just because you're really having a tough time. You keep chopping up there. So I'm not sure. Internet, it's a wonky thing sometimes, right? But we're going to share all the information after the show, and the links for folks watching can get signed up, etc. But before I let you go and move on to my next guest, is there anything final you want to put out there, Heidi?
Say one big thanks. I don't think we can say it enough, just to the community for how fantastic they've been in supporting all of our events and all of the other local charities that have struggled a little bit through this. But knowing that support is behind us, it is fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. And if people just want to donate, they can just still outside of the walk and continuing on. The funds need to keep rolling in. Again, they can reach out to the Boys Home and just make a donation, right?
Yep. Exactly. And they can do it through the website as well.
Very good. Heidi, thanks so much. I'm sorry we couldn't quite clarify you up a little bit more, but I think we got everything out we needed to there. And we'll make sure that we continue to share it on our Facebook as well to get as much attention as we can. Thank you for all your work with the Boys Home as well. I know you have an important role there, and they appreciate the work you do.
Thank you.
All right, Heidi Vallinga there. Internet's always a fun thing, right? But we got most of the message out there. So thank you, Heidi, for being here and talking about the run, walk, skate, bike that's put on by the Huron House Boys Home. One of their signature events that's so important to them. And I know she said about $60,000 a month needed monthly. I think it's more than that, but I'm sure it fluctuates a lot. But lots of money needed, and great to the participants who are involved so far. But you can still get involved and support the Boys Home again by going to their website and getting signed up, and or just making a donation to them as well. It's a really important organization in our community, one that I support regularly. So I hope you'll find the time to get out and walking. Hey, get some exercise, right? Who doesn't like that? Exercise is fun. Right? You can walk, you can run, you can walk, you can skate, or you can bike. There you go. And there's no finish line. You just keep doing it and supporting a good cause here in our community. All right. Thanks again, Heidi, for that. Okay. The conversation of mental health comes up a lot in conversations regularly here on the show, but just conversations in general. Although I still think we've got a long way to go with that. And this next lady, Debb Pitel, thanks for being here, Debb.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are, I guess it's fair to call you a mental health advocate. Would that be fair to call you that?
It would be an honor to be known to as that. I've worked in and amongst a lot of different agencies for about 12 years fundraising, and I greatly support the work that they do and recognize the work that's needed to do. So
Can I just, I really want to just kind of dive in deep a little before we get into the resources here, but why is this so important to you? I mean, don't get me wrong, it is important, but is there a personal reason for you that this is important to advocate for?
Absolutely. So I kind of navigate through my personal journey. We lost a son to suicide. It'll be 20 years this August. And we really recognize the system that we worked through as the person that had never dealt with mental health or even had the education or the knowledge of what to do when a parent struggles, whether regardless of who the need is for. And that journey was very long. It still is. It took me about 10 years to come out of that particular journey and really be an advocate for mental health. And it was that opportunity to go from grieving to surviving and being a mom to the other 3 boys that I have, and really navigating them through healing and being more proactive than reactive to the situation. So many, many steps to that. What brings me to today, one of which I published a book in October of this year in 2020 called I'm Still Your Mom. And it was a bit of an autobiography and the journey through mental health and what that looked like going through the loss of a child and coming out in a place of help. And coming out of that was, of course, COVID and the numbers. And it really just resonated to me that the book that I wanted to write was a guide to mental health. And that brought me to my current project, which is what we're here to talk about, I think, today.
Yeah. We'll jump to that in just a moment. Thank you so much for sharing that personal side here, because I think, I guess that's part of the importance of mental health too, is talking and sharing stories, right? And the feeling of, you're not alone in this journey. There is a lot of support out there. And, I talk a lot about mental health and I, do some shows on it and stuff and deal with different agencies. But I still, knowing as much as is out there, I hear people saying, well, I don't know where to go. And there's, where do I turn? And do we have any? It amazes me. And I have to admit, when I first heard about No One Stands Alone and your resources we're going to share here now, I was like, yeah, this is fantastic. People need this. What sort of made you think I need to put this together?
Well, you're right. Those conversations happen frequently with me as well, and too often. And the the reason behind the book, this particular booklet, was that even though I've been very proactive in the last 10 or 12 years and been very successful with a lot of fundraisers and a tremendous amount of support from doctors and the Central Family Health Team and Don Stillwell and all the different fundraising we've done over the years, I really didn't feel as though it was impacting the audience that I wanted to. I wanted to have a bigger voice and a bigger role in, sadly, the numbers that really spoke to the Sarnia-Lambton community, as well as in Chatham-Kent that I've been working with. So I felt that there was a bigger need. And I agree with you. There's a tremendous amount of resources out there, but they're difficult to find sometimes. And on top of the stigma around the stress of navigating, people tend to search for the symptom, not necessarily the resource. So I thought that this booklet would be an extension to get the average person like me or like you or someone else to the professionals in a different format. So the book will be in throughout the community. It's bright orange and it's easy to read and it's easy to follow. And throughout the book is those first contacts that people may need for help in a way that's easier to find the resources that they need. And with the pride that sometimes stands in our way, that is embarrassing to reach out and ask for help. So this takes all that away, is my goal, and that people can find the resources they need very quickly.
I think it's fantastic. And there's a website here as well, and that people can get more information. And I know this is just really freshly new, the website, right?
Absolutely. So we've just kind of gone live in the last couple of weeks. I've been navigating through some sponsoring and some fundraising and some service in the community around Sarnia-Lambton to see what fundings we can have. Our goal is to have 100,000 copies in and amongst Sarnia-Lambton by the end of the year. So we've got a lot of work to do, but we have a very, very good start, and we're excited to see where this comes out.
Yeah. Have you heard of Age Friendly Sarnia?
I have.
Okay, good. So let's talk about that after the show, maybe. I got some ideas for you there. But speaking of ideas like this, okay, so this is great that you're putting this together, but .coms and printing and materials all cost money. Is that what you mean when you talk about the fundraising to get this done? Are you there yet?
We are started. So yes, there's a cost of printing and distribution and the acrylic stands where the brochures are going to be. There's also maintaining the website. We want the book to be the initiative, but we want to have the website as a follow-up with additional resources. There's so many out there. The booklet only covers kind of infancies right up until the elderly outreach. And there's a different profile for all of the different community and resources that fall under the mental health umbrella. And sometimes mental health, the word itself, is the stigma. So we want to put that aside and make this a fun resource, and all the answers and questions where to start, so that people don't sit and worry about how do I find these resources or booking an appointment when these resources could be readily available. They certainly don't replace the professionals on any level, but it is a way to find the resources and maybe connect them a little faster.
Yeah, well, and I think sometimes when the conversation comes up about mental health, I mean, well, maybe not so much recently, but I mean, at a coffee shop, and maybe that form could be just sitting right there, or at the park even, and there's all kinds of places that we can put posters around throughout the community, and that's where the conversations come up, or even amongst, I think a lot of time we think of mental health and we think of young people for obvious reasons, but it's not just young people. There's it's everywhere, right? Why do you think there's still that stigma? Like, why haven't we smartened up yet?
Well, I would be retired if I had the answer to that question.
I guess, right?
But I can tell you that from my journey and from my research over the last few years, I think that where people find the information and what information they find is part of it. I think that this brochure gives people back that pride or that privacy that they can have in the comfort of their own home, or they can have those conversations in a bit of a private setting in order to, feel the confidence to reach out. It's very scary as a parent to reach out and tell your story to somebody and the judgment that goes along with it. So I know from the experience of the resources that we have in Sarnia Lambton, there is no judgment. But if you've never been in that position and you don't have that comfortable place to share the stories or the struggles you may have, it's a big leap. So I think we need to close the gaps a little bit. And I often say that, the resources are there, but they're very individualized. So, there's multiple different companies that make trucks, but Chevy doesn't advertise for Ford and Ford doesn't advertise for GM, but they're all
Right.
great trucks, right? So this booklet brings all those resources together and really highlights everyone so that you can decide where you need the help. Each entry in there, each business listing has a breakdown of not only the costs, but how to get a hold of them and what resources they offer so that there's no mistake in choosing the wrong resource to help you when you're looking for support.
Yeah. A great explanation, by the way. I love the Ford and GM thing there. Reminds me of my dad, actually. He used to say that kind of stuff. But no one stands alone. And I'm noticing here, though, it says Sarnia Lambton edition.
It does.
Am I reading deep into this? Am I seeing that? So there's a Sarnia Lambton edition. Is there further editions maybe planned for different areas? Is this kind of a blueprint for future?
Well, you're right and very observant. So thank you for picking up on that. But yes, there will be, I hope, multiple editions.
Yeah.
I am already starting to work with a phenomenal organization to kick off the Chatham-Kent version. So it will be soon to follow. I want to make sure that Sarnia Lambton's taken care of, but the need doesn't always have the time. So we want to get these booklets out into the resources. When I meet with the professionals and the EMS and the firefighters and the first responders, that too, even though they are professionals, sometimes struggle with just asking for the resources. I mean,
Right.
they're the purple people we need to support, and they too need support. So there's a great excitement about supporting them as well as the community through this booklet and what that's going to look like for personal and professional needs. I have had the privilege of having so many conversations, and with every conversation I've had about launching the booklet, they all share their own personal story where they've been touched by mental health sometime in their life, and it just excites me about the ability to be of the change. So once Sarnia Lambton is off and running, Chatham-Kent will be soon to follow, and onward and upward. I really don't see an end.
Well, no, because the whole planet really could use this type of thing, right? Okay, so there's resources in the book and reaching out, and there's sounds like some community involvement there. So on that level, have you reached out to local organizations that deal with mental health and said, this is what I'm doing, and are they on board with it, et cetera?
I did. I had a few conversations with some people prior to the final version being done, but it was really important as a non-professional for me to really get a conversation and get this book in front of a few people so that they could look at it. I really wanted them to know that this was in no reflection of the work that they do or don't do. It was more of an extension to unite the community to the resources. So I had a Zoom call with a few different agencies that were on the Zoom call. And I really wanted to say, if your clients, if your community people find this resource, are you happy with the content? There was a few edits and some suggestions. As a whole, it was very well received. I was thrilled to get their feedback and tweak things to make sure that it was as close to perfect as we could. One of the things that we will be doing is we'll be printing in certain numbers so that the PDF can be updated constantly. And that will be part of my job, to make sure that the research is accurate and as up to date as possible. And whether we print monthly or quarterly, the copies will be there, but they'll be accurate as we possibly can in each and every time.
Yeah, I like how you talk about that, because printing so many, like, and I've had this discussions. I'm involved with Age Friendly Starting as well. That's why. So we've had discussions of, well, how far do we go with print, right, as opposed to digital. Well, I mean, I want it on my phone, right? That's why I would go to the website. But there still is that need for print, of having it in your hand, or being able to, like I say, being handed something by a professional that says, here, and this is an important resource, right? Did you sort of have to debate how did you figure those numbers out as far as how many do we print?
Well, we're figuring out as we
Right.
went, but we basically just looked up populations and confirmed numbers across Sarnia and Lambton. I think being a rural community person myself, I think we really had to look at the resources or lack of resources in our communities that border Lambton County, and see where we could best place these booklets. I think you brought it up earlier. There's something to be said about finding these brochures in a non-clinical sense. So,
Yeah.
I want them in libraries, and I want them in coffee shops, and, a local ice cream store. And we talked about the food banks and places where people will find the brochure. And, as numbers open up, there won't be as many lines, but if they're standing in line, why not have a brochure to look at?
Yeah.
It's small enough that they can slip it in their purse. And there's something to be said about the old-fashioned way of communicating through this booklet, and being able to share that resource with somebody who needs it, or tucking it away in the cupboard and pray you never do. But if you do, then there'll be the online resource as well as the printed form of this pamphlet. And on the website, we're going to list where you can find them, and you can reach out and acquire a copy from us anytime.
Yeah, and I would imagine schools would be an obvious target market for this, college level and university and high school and public, right?
I hope they're listening. I couldn't agree more. I don't
Right.
know whether we're going to make that work to have these in the schools, but it would be on my top two things to do. The education part of this is a great resource, and I hope that they share your passion to get this in the schools.
Well, I know it's a process for sure, because I'm sure. I mean, I didn't give you a new idea, I'm sure, but it can be done. Just so you know, and I might be able to offer some resources that can help you with that too. But I think this is, it sounds, it sounds simple. It's a booklet, right? But it's very unique to what it, pardon me, to what it is. And, continuing the conversation, mental health. We hear that every day. But I think it's all in our language too, and how we speak about it, or rather how we don't speak about it, to get through that stigma. So what do you do? What are you doing for money then? You said we started to fundraise. How can I donate? How can people what needs to happen?
Well, I've been very busy setting up appointments with, like I said, service clubs that, are very excited about this resource. And in all respect, I have to allow them the time that they need to come on board. They've also been affected with COVID, not being able to fundraise within their own organizations and with their own projects that they've been a part of for many years. So, we're going to have to break this down in little pieces, and I don't think it's going to be quick. I do know that as of this morning, I'm sure that they're going to be okay, but Shell Canada has come on board as a major corporate sponsor, and I'm very excited about that.
Fantastic.
They were happy to help, and they're going to be part of the sponsorship. And as well, we're building up the sponsorships that they'll be in the booklet. I want them to have a shout out. I want the community to know who's behind them, and whether they're on their book or not, it doesn't mean that they're not behind them, but I certainly want to highlight those that are. And the Optimist Club in Petrolia has come on board as a partner. I'm excited about that. We have some personal donations. I'm sure Julie Jenkins from Exit Realty is no stranger to this communication, and she is proud sponsor to come on board as well. So the monies are starting to roll in, and we're excited. We are going to go to print this week with 2,500 copies. The funds that have been donated, and I'm matching. Myself and Don Stowall decided that this first edition is very personal, and we want to match those donations that are coming in and get these copies out. I think with the kids coming out of school or whatever it is that they're finishing, their commitment to the education for the season is out and open, and I want them to find these handouts in the community this summer. And as the numbers unfold from COVID, I think that the resources over the summer is something that we really want in the community sooner rather than later. And then fall, as the school changes, then we're back to the Board of Ed to see what we can do to get these resources there and to other community members as well.
Deb, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
And for sharing your story and for recognizing that we need this. And honestly, creating some more hope. Creating hope is a good thing. Can you stick around? I got to wrap up the show, but can you stick around and chat with me for a minute after? Just kind of hang out in the lobby here. I've got a couple things I really want to talk to you about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
Before
You're welcome. Any final words before I let you go?
Well, I just want to give all those who don't have a voice or those that have lost hope that we're still trying, and we still need these initiatives to come forth. And if they want to volunteer to help distribute, or they have a personal donation, or they just want to find out, or they want the resources, we welcome all aspects to reach out to us either by email, info@noonestandsalone.ca, or on our website. And we are there to help and connect whenever we can.
That's fantastic. I look forward to talking to you. Stand by there with me, Deb. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Debb Pitel, mental health advocate. What a great story. I'm so glad I've been connected with her. Thanks to Don Stillwell, actually, for helping us put this together as well. And yeah, this is overwhelming. I'm just so glad that this has been able to be brought to life. And we're going to let you know. We're going to keep following up with Deb and how this is going, and how you can get involved and give your support as well. No one stands alone. That's the title, and that's the message in all of this. A guide to resources and supports for mental health, Sarnia Lambton edition. Yeah, I got it on that for sure. So it's nice to see that this is going to be growing as well, but it's going to take some dollars. So I'm sure we'll be staying in touch with Deb, and we'll be following up on having her back on her journey with this as well. All right, just before we go and I wrap things up, I do want to remind you, if you're a rider, or if you're not a rider, keep an eye out on Saturday, June the 19th. We will be having a Ride of Respect. I started this last year with some friends, and we're doing it again this year. The Ride of Respect, to show respect to all frontline workers and to show that motorcycles are on the road and create that awareness, and hopefully we can get some respect for our riding as well. So the Ride of Respect takes place on Saturday, June 19th. There will be, last year we had about 125 motorcycles riding through the city of Sarnia, and we will be driving by all the long-term care homes, fire, police, ambulance, and as many, obviously we can't get to every person who's a frontline worker, but we wanted to make it a nice route throughout the city to, again, recognize the frontline workers and so many people involved through all this pandemic. And that's why it's called Ride of Respect 2021. We will be taking donations, and donations for this will once again this year go to Ohana Landing, the youth transitional housing facility here, the former ABC daycare. So all donations from that, again, going to Ohana Landing. So keep an eye out. If you start hearing the rumblings, don't lock your doors and run away. It's just some friendly riders coming through to again, show respect and create some awareness. So thank you once again to Debb Pitel for being here, and to Heidi Vallinga. We got as much of her message as we could out there. Technology doesn't always agree with us, but the Huron House Boys Home can use your help, and you for sure can go online to their website to find out how you can get involved with their run, walk, skate, and ride. They need over $60,000 a month to keep things going. So enjoy the weather. Be kind to each other. You know, be nice out there. We're getting there. I know there's light at the end of the tunnel. I keep hearing it's just been a really long tunnel, right? I get that. But thanks so much, everybody, for being here, and all my sponsors. I do appreciate you. Give me a reason to be here every Monday to come and talk to you and the great people in our community. But that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I will see you next time right here in the show. Bye for now.